Hey, bro, they got us, bro. From the robbery we did last week. Yeah, they got me in the back of the police car. I'm calling you, nigga, because you was with me. That's why I'm calling you. Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. We'll be at your door, bro. I'm bringing them to your door, bro. I'm not going to jail by myself, bro. I can't go to jail by myself, bro. I'm bringing them to your door, bro. I'm letting them know where you live, bro.
When you get in jail and you like fight for your life, you realize like, damn, like this shit all an act. Like, damn, I wish I was a police. These niggas just clock in, they got their phones in the jail, they just walking around checking on people. What's up, bro? All right, bro, I see you tomorrow. We're going on home with the babies, bro. I'm like, damn, man. If I was a police, I wouldn't even be in this situation. Like, oh, man. So I know all the way over from kid and just like, I'm going to be a police. I do not want to be in this shit.
If it made you feel like you wanted to be the police, bro, that's a badass time, dog.
Hey, yo, y'all see what state the game is in when the streets don't hold the culture of the game? Now that the weird Twitter nerds and the nerds and all of these weird motherfuckers got, you know what I mean, they got their hands on the culture. The voice of the streets don't mean as much as it did when we was coming up. There was a lot of cons to that as well. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say that, but you see what happened when the streets, you know what I mean, don't control the game no more. It's a lot of fuck nigga shit going on, man. And a lot of people's okay with it because they're fuck niggas, man.
Yo, so we're back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha. And that was Benny the Butcher. A nigga's an idiot. The reason the goofies, quote unquote, are running the game and they're not, because there's no more gatekeeper. All the music goes through social media. If you're not making any headway or people ain't fucking with you, it's probably because they're not fucking with you as an artist. I like to think that what Young Thug and Gunna and 6ix9ine did, snitching or talking and being loose lipping, basically being caricatures of street characters, has made their image look bad. It once was a time that rappers, they either used monikers of actual street characters or they used their moniker, right? They were actually participants in the streets. Because the game has morphed into something different, and I mean, times change. You're not going to have drug dealers, right, be the representatives or street champions that are having stories told about them via an artist that's portraying that persona, like 50 Cent. His name comes from the actual stick-up kid 50 Cent. His street name was Boo Boo. Who else? Jay-Z. Jay-Z's rap name is Jay-Z, but he took that moniker from another rapper slash street dude, Jaz-O. Who else? Several people that come to mind for some reason. I can't think of them. But yeah, there's a lot of people that took street characters' names and they rapped as if they were them. Oh, Rick Ross. But since drug dealing is at, like, there's no more kingpins, so whose name you gonna take? You, like, you know what I'm saying? With stick up kids, that's an archaic street activity, right? Sticking a snub in somebody's back. Nobody does that. We got scammers. So unless you're gonna take the notorious Ross Ulbricht, and I don't know how you could flip that, man. You know what I'm saying? Call yourself Albright or Ulbricht. I don't know how Ross Ulbricht. You the RS Ulbricht. It doesn't have the same ring. So the times have changed, and younger people just ain't really too acclimated with the streets. You gotta think about it. Most of the rappers' kids grow up in well-to-do households. Most black people now aren't scuffling. They're not on Section 8 by and large. But Black people ain't doing as bad as they was in the 80s and 90s, right? Food stamps is on a fucking SNAP card. It's just not the same. The projects in a lot of major cities have been tore down, at least the ones in Atlanta. And if you're in New York, I don't know. I don't know if you'd want to live in them fucking projects. But most people live in New York, you gotta have some bread. So the state of living is just different, and street living has been commercialized so much that it's not underground. The reason it was so palatable and sellable and marketable back in the 80s and 90s was because it was underground, right? It was dealings and activities that weren't commonly known. People didn't know the inner mechanics of drug dealing or stick up kids or, you know what I'm saying, robbing. When you saw a movie about robbing, it was a heist movie, a bank robbery movie. You know what I'm saying? When you saw a drug dealing movie, it was a fucking Cuban with a bunch of Uzis and shit shooting at a whole bunch of henchmen. That's not real life. I mean, that's actually a portion of real life. I think that actual story was based off of a notorious Cuban drug dealer back in I want to say the late 80s, early 90s in Miami. Because the original Scarface story didn't, like, they flipped it. They literally took a story about an Italian man named Scarface that was I forgot what he was, a runner's number / bootlegger. Yeah, they flipped it and they just slapped on cocaine trafficker. The origin stories out of Miami. But yeah, times have changed. There's not a lot of notorious drug dealers, street character figures running around. If they are, they either been apprehended or they about to be. And like I said, the younger generation isn't familiar with that. So when you rap about shit like that and Benny the Butcher is 40 years old, they can't identify with that shit, because the closest they know to street characters is hoodlum thugs or scammers. Like basically nobodies. So it's not the fact that the goofies and internet trolls and SoundCloud rappers and took hold of the game. That's what the younger generation is more acclimated and like familiar with. Not only that, you're 40 fucking years old. Now don't get me wrong, Benny the Butcher wasn't old when he got in the game, but you're 40 fucking years old. Your fan base is thinking about vision care and insurance premiums and, you know what I'm saying, mortgages. Or they on their third kid, or one of them is graduated, about to go to college. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Now they're 40-year-old niggas that want to hear about drug dealing tales or street shit, that gritty shit. Yeah, but it's the same reason that Mobb Deep's music slowly stopped selling, and that was in the early 2000s. Niggas came out in 93. By the time 2005 rolled around, they was signed to G Unit. I think it was 2003. Don't hold me to that. It's probably between 2003 2005, some shit like that. But by the time 2003 2004 and 5 rolled around, like, it was a different era. There were no, like, even back 20 years ago, there wasn't no big drug dealers. The biggest drug dealer that was around was Big Meech, and he got locked up in 2005. El Chapo got locked up in 2010 or 11. It's 2025. It's a new era. So yeah, if this nigga's smart, I'd be hitting up some movie studios to sell music to, corporate companies to sell jingles to. Use your music to sell a product. Like Nas did it with McDonald's. The fuck is your excuse? I think a lot of rappers get stuck on this, having to sell and cater music to like a mass audience, when you can actually sell it and gear it towards a product. Like, your music could actually be a driving force in a TV show episode or a movie or a soundtrack or a product or a commercial. It doesn't have to be for listening purposes only. And I'm only what's the word for it? I'm only like I went to school for marketing, so they taught us this. You can use other elements to sell a product, to push a service. You don't actually have to use it for one sole purpose. People don't listen to fucking music anyways. They listen to music for the vibes, not for the words. You got bars. They don't want that. Which is why Lil Yachty is still the fuck somehow in the mainstay of rap. I will never understand that. This nigga can't rap. He doesn't have mass appeal, and he don't look like he get bitches. And what the fuck is his persona? Weird nigga with red locks or red braids. In any event, if y'all like this episode, like, comment, it's Grizzard. And maybe Benny the Butcher might want to start a podcast, nigga. Anyways, like I said, I'm out.